Hello, good morning. My name is Allison Barnett, and I'm welcoming you to Season 4, Episode 5 of Mindful Meditations on Art Jewelry. I'm coming to you live this morning from Jacona, New Mexico, from the studio of Claire Kahn, who's with me here today.
Hello.
And we've come to you before from Claire's beautiful studio and home, and thank you to everyone who's joining us this morning. We are very excited. It's an interesting, I'm going to turn the camera so you can see what we are looking at this morning. Claire has the most beautiful view from her studio here in northern New Mexico. It's a very overcast day, which we are not always used to. We're used to abundant blue skies, but this kind of day really gives rise to the color of this particular release from Claire, which she's entitled Fall 22. And so I'm going to actually turn the camera onto the works in front of me, and I'm going to let Claire talk about this beautiful collection of fall-inspired pieces. And I'm going to let Claire kind of take center stage with her voice and tell us what's going on and what the inspiration obviously was. So Claire, why don't we start with what you have at the end here?
Okay.
I know this one is one of your favorite pieces.
It is. I'm very pleased with that. Those are little orange and yellow sapphires that are faceted ovals set in 18-karat gold. And there's a little sort of mini progression from light to dark between each one. So they sort of punctuate the beginning and end of beads that go from white to yellow to kind of burnt orange and brown to purple.
This is magnificent.
And those are the colors that really are here in this area in the fall.
Yes.
The fall here is so much about yellow, but there's also all this other beautiful...
And you really wanted to punctuate this color, yellow, in this
so
particular collection.
Yes, and so it's this sort of quiet transition from purple and olive green to burnt orange and yellow, and then the sapphires, which are really lovely.
Oh, they're gorgeous. What is it about this piece in particular that you so love?
I'm pleased with the color progression. It's rich and almost spectral, even though there's really no blue in it. And I just think it all just went very nicely, the way those sapphires punctuate the piece, and it's really... It holds up well when you double it or when you wear it any bunch of ways.
Let you kind of handle it while I hold the camera. Yeah.
So
that
many
is
different
just remarkable
things to do with it.
So for those of you who maybe don't know about Claire, Claire has been living in New Mexico since, I think, 2016, originally from San Francisco. Her whole background is about color, about pattern, her whole life in the arts and in design. Oh my gosh, look at it doubled like that. It's just extraordinary. But your whole life has been about design and about color and progression, having grown up in a home with two designers. Your mother was a weaver and your father taught design at Stanford. So all of this sort of just spilled into your everyday life. And we are the lucky recipients of that in the work that you are creating by hand in your studio every day. So sometimes they're all sold separately.
They are.
But you love to make pairings.
I do. And the idea for me of this kind of variation on a theme where it's not absolutely parallel, but there's compatibility between the pieces. So they, it's kind of pattern on pattern, which I love. I love this kind of mix of pattern on pattern on pattern.
It's stunning.
And, as you collect the pieces, you can really do what you want with them, make them your own, create different kinds of patterns with them. This second piece here, which is really meant to go with the one we were just looking at, is I'm actually calling it Larson because it's inspired by a textile designer named Jacona Larson and some of his work in pattern and color. But it is for the fall release, and so it's a little bit bolder graphically.
Yeah.
And there's some white, a little bit of white, just to give it that sparkle.
Oh, I see that.
White is
almost
so
like
important.
A pearlescent white.
Pearlescent yellowy white, and then it goes through to these yellows, and then there are the olive greens and the sort of metallic neutrals, browns, bronze, all that wonderful color that we associate with the fall, which is such a beautiful time of year.
Just beautiful. And I know that you, for the holidays, you're having a show called Woven, which we're very excited about, and you'll be introducing other pieces in a similar pattern.
Yes, one of the, I'll be introducing more of this kind of pattern, but also lots of others. It's really, the Woven show's about patterns.
About pattern.
Yeah.
So we get a hint of it here.
You get a hint.
With the fall, beautiful fall colors, and again, on a day like today that's overcast, it really gives rise to the magnificent color range. This is all about to sort of explode in yellow the end of this month. But let's come back. So you had also introduced this piece. You were sort of playing with it. And
right.
This one has the mandarin garnets.
These are mandarin garnets. They're faceted briolettes, so they're sort of flat teardroppy shapes. Some people call these ones actually, I think it's pear, because they're a little rounder, or heart-shaped because they're a little bit rounder stones, which works well with my things.
There's a lot of green in this piece, and sort of a honey.
Yeah, and kind of yellowy bronze, green, olive green, white, neutral. Excuse me, but to show off the yellow of the. And
beneath the stones, a little bit more yellow, more goldy hues.
Yeah, gold right up against them.
Yeah, and then it gets more little taupey to the back.
Yeah, and then, I try to keep the rope in this case kind of neutral, rich neutral, There's a bit of blue-green in there. But I wanted really to support and accentuate these wonderful mandarin garnets that are around the edge. And 3 times makes a bracelet.
So this is a shorter necklace. I think it's about 24 inches.
24 inches, exactly.
Yeah, and then you can triple it on most wrists as a bracelet. Yeah. Stunning, just beautiful. It's like candy. And then,
gold.
And then let's talk about some of these bracelets that are right in front of us. So this gorgeous opal bracelet. Let me just sort of bring it down.
These are cabochon round opals set in 18-karat gold bezels that are like charms on a bracelet, charm bracelet. And it's again fairly neutral, but with rich neutrals, so there's kind of a spectral feel about it. There's purple and green and gold.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Iridescence, a kind of iridescence about the rope part, and then of course these amazing iridescent opals that come.
And they really change in almost every light. I mean, obviously on a green background or against the skin, you see different hues, but they have a lot of color. These opals. There's yellow, there's orange, there's blue, there's purple. This is such a lovely piece, and again you accentuate in the strands right when the opal
it's
is
a
coming
little
off
bit
the edge, like a little shot of
gold.
Yeah, just beautiful. So they hang like charms.
Yes.
And then what about this one?
This one is also in the same color combination as the opal one we just looked at. They're arranged differently. There's a little more contrast between them. And then there's a section of 18-karat gold beads in the rope.
All faceted gold beads, about 1.5 inches in the rope. So this is a great bracelet because it's great for stacking. If you have other bracelets by Claire or just other bracelets, it's a great addition. When I look at the ones on your wrist these two are sold. But it's a great stacker.
This would go very nicely together, this sort of thing,
That is so rich and so beautiful. And they are like textiles, when you start to really kind of squint your eye and see the play of these little micro, beads together. As you have said, Claire, the beads alone mean nothing, but when you put them together into these beautiful compositions, and you start to, I like to say, you choreograph these patterns. It's when it really comes to life.
It's really just like weaving in that sense, because weaving, you're using fine, delicate, thin fibers, thread, yarn, weaving them together to create a larger whole, whether it's yardage or a hanging or a tapestry. And in upholstery fabrics, you're using sometimes fairly vivid complementary colors together that mix to create a beautiful kind of neutral. Your eye mixes them at any distance because they're so fine, fibers are.
Yes.
And that's the same thing with the beads. It's almost like a pointillist painting, or it's pixelated somehow.
Agreed. And you have a name for this particular type of pattern.
I call this chambray, inspired by these silks that you sometimes see them like in a lining of a raincoat, where the silk, the warp,
yes,
is one color and the weft is an opposite, like red and green.
Yes.
And they mix together, and as you even turn the fabric, you see one or another color. It's that wonderful kind of iridescence that you get.
Well, I'm zooming in on your wrist to see these, and as you're talking and moving, we're seeing exactly what you're talking about. And on the one towards the back, you've got a double with these oval bands in gold, and the one in the front is single.
The one in the front's just a single with round circular bands of white gold and yellow gold, and that's just an accent. And they're not loose, but you can slide them around on the bracelet and sort of put them anywhere you want them, and they'll stay put there.
Yeah, and you had those made.
I have them made because they have to be calibrated to fit these cords.
Of course, and this one is spoken for, as is this one in your hand.
So the same thing, except there are two bracelets that are held together with oval-shaped bands.
Yes.
Also yellow gold, and in the center we have pave diamonds set in white gold.
Beautiful. And then let's talk about, you've got a pair of rutilated quartz.
Yes.
Sold separately, but...
Yes, the idea was that they were one piece, but there wasn't a really good way to link them together, so I just made two. And this is rutile. This is quartz that has rutile in it, which are these little gashes of metal, or sometimes they're stone. They're really interesting. Each one of these quartz pieces is different. They're clear, and then they have these beautiful gold strands.
Zoom in a little bit, yeah. And then you've got the gold bead.
And ever so often, there's a gold bead for an accent.
And it gets darker on the inside.
It gets darker on the inside as you move around. It gets lighter to kind of draw your eye to these lovely stones. And it's a band sort of together. It makes kind of a ruffle almost.
Yes, I see that. So these are sold separately but are beautiful as a pair.
Right.
And these pieces will be available on our website. They actually might be available now. If not now, it'll be very, very soon. And you can always contact us at the gallery if you have any questions about any of these pieces. So speaking of rutilated quartz, why don't we show everyone, all of our viewers, this next piece with the sapphires, the quiet sapphires with the occasional rutilated quartz.
Yes. Oh, yes. This piece. These are sapphires. They're not.
Here, I'm going to move some things aside so we can. Yes, so we can really focus on this piece.
These are not. They're sapphires, and they're large. They're about 5 millimeters, or even 6. Some of them, but they're not fancy. They haven't been treated.
Natural
They're
color,
natural. It's
which
completely natural. Also, that when they're natural like this, they tend to be a little bit more opaque. They're not as clear, which I also love. It's just these beautiful colors come through, and there's a mix of colors all in this kind of autumny. But I made the rope light because I wanted to really quiet down the rope as much as possible, keeping some interest in the pattern, but keeping the color as quiet as possible so that these beautiful colors in this strand of sapphires will jump out.
I love these little jumps of color. Of course,
orange and
I
red.
love orange.
There's even, there's some green. The grays are very blue-gray. There's white, all different colors. And then ever so often, I've put in one of these rutilated quartz pieces that are the same as the bracelet. See, like right there.
Let's see if I can zoom in here. Yes. Claire, this is so beautiful, and it's just this quiet, elegance on the neck. It's really so lovely. And again, you know, looking out at what your inspiration is every day. All of this color is so
this is
beautifully
what's out there,
represented in the view you have. This is just an extraordinary piece. So this one is long. It's about
43.
43. Can you put it on?
Sure. Take this guy.
Well, let's see. Well, before you take it off, let's just see what you've got on. Oh, a beautiful necklace with natural opal.
Yes, and gold.
And a whole section of gold beads. Beautiful fall oranges and bronzes and gold. That's gorgeous. Okay.
And the beads are a little bit bigger on this one, so it's a slightly thicker piece, and you can position it on yourself so that this length of gold.
Oh, look at that.
Happens wherever you want it to. It's sort of like a brooch, you know, that's on the necklace.
Yes, I love it. Okay, let's see this stunning.
So this guy.
It's cold out here, so we're all
wearing jackets.
And you like to double it.
I sometimes double it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. You do these amazing things with them. Yeah, I mean, doubled or.
Yes.
How does that look?
It's gorgeous, and
then there's
of course long.
Long is
so elegant.
Favorite, of course.
Yes.
It's just pure, simple, long, voila.
Yeah, the color's getting a little bit lost outside, but there you go. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, thank you. And then, coming back to the table.
Yes.
I see. Oh, okay. Here's one that we didn't talk about.
That's new. So, this is what I call a ruffle. It's got lots of orange and yellow in it and gold. And these stones that are coming off are these really interesting shaped, sort of triangular, faceted large carnelian beads.
Yeah, I'll say, gosh.
And I've put them fairly close together so that the result is what I call a ruffle. And then there's, in between each one, there's one of those garnets.
The mandarin garnet.
The mandarin garnet, which is yellow. So it's all very... kind of like a sunflower.
Yes, it is.
And then because the proportion is now so much more stone than rope.
Yes.
I like to add a little bit more rope. So going along with this, if you purchase this, you get this. Just, for me, I didn't want to let this get sold without having a pair, so that the rope, there was more rope in relation to the stone.
Yes, I understand. No, it gives it a little bit more weight on the other side.
And
it balances it.
And it's fun to wear. I mean, when you wear them both, they can just sort of fall where they may. One side is more orange and one side is more neutral.
Is that chambray as well?
I would call this a chambray, yeah.
Oh, I love that little bit of orange.
Just for fun to have the two of them, or this one
could go on the other side. Yeah,
on the other side.
Yeah, I love the courage to put such large stones on a bracelet. It makes such a beautiful statement when it falls down towards the wrist, like a ruffle.
Like a ruffle.
Just like a ruffle. This is beautiful. Just gorgeous. And then this one has a real linear, almost like weaving, warp and weft.
Yes.
This is a Lita pattern?
It is a Lita pattern.
Yeah, so that's inspired by your mom.
Yeah.
So we'll be seeing more of these patterns in the woven show as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Stunning. Okay, and then you did this series coming here with sapphire. So
yes, these are
when
also
you knew you were
sapphires.
having this fall, show, you had acquired these beautiful sapphires.
Right.
Tell us about those.
I
This
knew
was the first piece you made.
It was for the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought when I started this that it was going to be really a show about yellow. Because in New Mexico, I've found that the fall here is really about yellow. We've got the stands of aspen trees. We've got these beautiful cottonwoods that turn bright yellow. And then this year, because we've had a lot of rain, we had so many yellow flowers.
Yes, we have.
Fields of yellow flowers.
Yes.
So I bought these because as sapphires go, there are a lot of yellow ones in this collection. There's lots of different colors in it, which I love.
Yes.
You can see there's pink
and
olive green. But the dominant color in this is sapphire. I mean, it is yellow in this sapphire. There's even a little bit of blue. It's really a lovely collection.
Yes.
So,
and of course, when you're putting this together, you're selecting particular colors to
yes.
put in a necklace.
Yeah, and to order them. It looks random. It's not.
Yeah. So you're pretty specific.
It's quite specific, yeah.
So this is another short necklace.
This is a short necklace
and
that
could
wrapped
be worn
3 times.
Three
Can be a
times.
bracelet, very comfortably.
Beautiful.
You make that a bracelet. You just
Beautiful.
wrap it 3
So you
times.
love the briolettes.
I love briolettes. There are a number of different stones that happen to sit well on the rope.
Yes.
And
the scale of them is nice.
This scale is good, yeah.
Yeah, this is so beautifully represented in the fall. And then there's a bracelet, an individual bracelet.
Yeah, and this bracelet is got, again, what I would call a ruffle, in that the stones are so close together that they create this kind of, you could call it a fringe, I guess.
When I look at this one in the light, I keep thinking back to this piece.
Yeah, they're all the same color.
I see this purple on the underbelly.
This one is really
of the robe.
purple on them.
Yeah.
Lots of purple under there.
Oh.
I just love complementary color, and the opposite of yellow is purple. And so, and it just so happens too that really, literally, I mean, when you look into the mountains, you see purple.
Yes.
And you know, purple mountain majesty.
Purple
right?
mountain majesty. That's right.
It's true.
right.
You really do see it, and it depends on the day and how far away you are. I find the Sangre de Cristo Mountains particularly amazing that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
So,
so
yeah,
coming
I
back
put
to our
purple in
table,
these.
well, and you've done a beautiful job with the composition of color in there. And then we have a few pieces at the end of our table here.
These tell
us about these.
These are very special.
These are very special.
They're more neutral. They're quieter, but they use so. The necklace is a kind of, I put a little blue, green, bronze, and gold in there, so it's a sort of golden, rich neutral. And then these that line the edge of the piece are ancient Egyptian faience. It's not ceramic, but they're finding this amazing material that they call faience. It comes from Sinai, and it's about 2,000 years old.
Oh, just beautiful.
And they're similar to ceramic, but they used all these different materials like ash and glass and different minerals, some quartz, to create it, and it comes in different colors. They made this kind of beautiful honey-colored beige faience beads.
Yes.
And this one they use, I'm putting in these darker black and reddish brown colors.
I love the
darker
history,
one.
and I love the texture of these beads and the spacing of them, and the way you've alternated them. So when you are acquiring these, you're getting them in a whole variety of color.
Yes.
And then putting them together in these color patterns.
The most famous color in faience that you see, the Metropolitan Museum in New York has the most amazing collection of faience, Egyptian sculpture and jewelry and other items that they made using this material.
And is sometimes the color is more turquoise,
turquoise
celadon?
is there's a celadon light green, but there's also a saturated turquoise. And I get the material and then separate out the colors I want to use in a piece. It also varies in size. While you can't really tell too well in this, it is graduated. One end has them much smaller than the other end.
That's very subtle. And of course that works with the fall collection.
Yes.
It wasn't made intentionally for the fall collection, but it's
spot on.
It's beautiful. It is spot on.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 more pieces at the end. Again, they weren't made for this particular collection, but again, spot on for all the colors and flavors of the season.
This piece I actually made when I was working at Longwood Gardens, and they were celebrating 100 years, Leonard Bernstein's, what would be his 100th year.
Yes.
And
yes, I remember that.
And I did a piece called, this piece and one other called Candide.
Oh.
And so there's a lot of different color in here and a kind of whimsical spinning around of these quatrefoil or clover shaped
Clovers, yes.
18-karat gold charms, and they just kind of dot the piece.
So this pattern is very different from others that are part of the fall collection, where it's sort of swelling with color.
Exactly.
And then around every clover you've got these gold beads where the pattern is a little quieter.
Yeah.
But then it swells with this one. So it's really just spinning and undulating.
And it's intended to kind of be whimsical, almost like flowers on a branch or a twig or leaves.
Just beautiful. Just beautiful, Claire. And again, these the necklaces, when they're super long, like 43,
go around
they can
6 times.
Sometimes worn 6 times around the wrist.
And then you have that dotted accent.
Yeah, yeah, just beautiful. And then the last piece there,
also done for a different event, but here we have these colors. It's very light, very delicate. It's really a white necklace where there is a pearl and a little leaf form in gold that kind of cradles the pearl. There's a little bit of emphasis in golds and bronzy, almost rose gold color. And that happens every time there's one of these cupped pearls.
So if I remember, when you made this piece, the fall was in abundant yellow, and then we had an early frost.
We had an early frost.
And so we had snow
with the
aspens.
Yes,
with the cottonwood. Yeah. And this piece, I love how you tell these stories, and you don't have a whole lot of room to tell a story. You have a rope that is about 1/4 of an inch, and then you crochet these stories into this rope, and they're just magnificent. And so when you scan and you look at all these pieces, this abundance of color, they're rich and inviting, and just juicy and collectible. And we're so excited about this particular fall mini series as you're getting ready for your next big holiday collection, which will be woven, and that's for December for holiday. Yes. But Claire, you're going to be in. Well, we're in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and tomorrow night you'll be joining us at the gallery for a First Friday event. So if any of you are actually in Santa Fe, you can join us tomorrow night at our gallery location here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Claire will be ever present with these pieces and more collections that are in the gallery. And the gallery, that reception will be from 5 to 7 tomorrow night. So please join us. And of course, these pieces, I believe, are all on our website now, so you can explore more of them on the website. And it's always a total pleasure to sit with you in your beautiful home and studio and really see all the inspiration around us, the water, the pond, and all the color. And we'll have to come back when the colors are more, more yellow and more rich. But I think we're doing okay for today. So for those of you who joined us, I really appreciate your coming and joining us this morning on this fall day here in northern New Mexico and wherever you are. And thank you, Nisha. Yes, they are lovely. And we look forward to seeing you soon. And join us on social media and in the gallery and online always, 24/7. And we'll continue to bring beauty into your lives. And thanks for joining us this morning. Have a great day. Bye-bye.